Hey Functional Fitness Group, Sydney here to talk to you about our hump day workout. We're gonna really be challenging those legs today for hump day. So again, the warm-up should be self-explanatory. If you've been doing the workouts every week, you should be very familiar with those movements. But one I wanna go over is the Samson lunge. So that's where we're gonna take a big long lunge. So big step forward, and I'm gonna lean into this hip. So whichever leg is back, lean into that hip. You're gonna interlace your fingers, press them up towards the sky, and try to get your head through your arms. So a nice shoulder and hip opener. Hold that for 10 seconds on one side, and then switch and do it on the other side. You can step forward or just alternate in place like I just did. So today's workout, I know I said that yesterday's workout was one of my favorites, but I don't know, I love workouts like today's. It's actually, the type of workout is a chipper because you have to, chip away at the movements. They're maybe a larger number than you're used to seeing, and you have to finish one movement to move on to the next. So I don't know, it's fun. It's a long list, but once you get done with each, you check them off, and then at the end, you feel super accomplished. So, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we do that, our strength today are deadlifts. So what I challenge you to do is find something that is significantly heavy, a significantly heavy load in your home. What I'm gonna show you right now are with dumbbells, but before I do that, the deadlift. We have our feet hip width apart. So a squat, we had shoulder width apart. Deadlift, hip width. So feet should be right under the hips. And toes are pointing forward. If I have a barbell or dumbbell in my hands, doesn't matter. I'm going to send my hips back and keep the weight or the load nice and close to my body. My knees are not gonna bend until the weight passes. And notice how when I get down to mid-shin, that's where we want the weight to be. My hips are between my knees and my shoulders. So we don't want to get super squatty, but we also don't want we never want the hips to be above the shoulders. So we want shoulders, hips, then knees. That's your perfect order. And then from here, I'm going to straighten my legs. The barbell passes my knees. And then I'm going to bring my hips forward and stand. Super important with the deadlift, among all of our other movements that we've been doing. Keep that belly nice and tight. What I like to say to some of my clients is, I'm going to come over and punch you in the stomach. How would you brace your core? Think about that, nice and tight. That belly will protect your back, and it will help you be even stronger. So deadlift. If you only have one dumbbell, you could do it with one dumbbell or one object. You can use a single one. So I'm going to send my hips back. Don't bend my knees until the barbell passes, and then come up, and then you could switch sides. If you want, you can also do it with two dumbbells. Feet are hip width apart. I'm going to send my hips back. My knees don't completely bend. I have a slight bend, but they don't completely bend until the dumbbell passes, and then I come up. You can challenge yourself and try to get both heads of the dumbbell to the ground, keeping that chest up, core tight the entire time, and then stand. All right, for our chipper, we got a bunch of different movements with 30 reps of each. So I'm just gonna run through the movements. First ones are lunges, single skips, and jump squats. So lunges, I'm in place, I'm gonna take a step forward, and then push back. If you want, you could do reverse lunges too, that's fine. But just step forward, keep a nice 90-degree angle on that front foot, and step back and alternate legs. So ultimately it's gonna be 15 reps per leg. Then single skips. If you have one, you're gonna grab your jump rope. I have a lot of things around me, I'm probably gonna get tripped, but you're just gonna jump 30 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Single skips. Like we've said before, if you don't have a rope, you could do taps. 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 30. You could pretend like you have a rope and spin it. You can do jumping jacks or mountain climbers. You decide. Then jump squats. our nice squat position, go down into a squat, jump up, and come back down. Still, you're keeping that chest up, core tight. You're not letting the chest drop. If jump squats are not happening for you, we can just do regular air squats. Then we have a push press, lateral hops over the dumbbell, and bicycle crunches. So push press, this is where you're gonna have 2 weights on your shoulders, or I'll show you in a second with 1 weight. And your feet are gonna be in between your hips and your shoulders. So not quite hip width apart, not quite shoulder width apart. And you're gonna keep the weight in the heels, bend down. So I'm gonna bend my hips and then rapidly extend them to get the dumbbells up overhead. So down. So simply what a shoulder, or what a push press is a shoulder press or a strict press combined with a little momentum or help from the hips. If you're using 1 dumbbell, you can hold it by the 2 heads. Takes a little maneuvering to get your grip. You're gonna bend down, flex the hips or bend at the hips, bend at the knee, and then extend both overhead. Still keeping that core nice and tight. Don't let yourself get super arched. Make sure that you're incorporating those hips. Don't just let your shoulders do all the work. You'll get super tired and fatigued very quickly, and those 30 reps will become very difficult. All right, lateral hops over the dumbbell. So this could be a dumbbell or honestly any object that's of similar height in your home, and you're gonna hop over the dumbbell. You can hop like this and stop and go, or you can have some momentum, and as soon as you hit on one side, you jump to the other. So, all right, there's your lateral hops. Lateral hops can be a little bit scary because we don't move laterally a lot, and the dumbbell isn't clearly in our vision. So if you want, you can face it and do forward-facing jumps instead. That's fine, but if you do that, you're gonna have to stop and turn and jump, but that's a perfect modification. If jumping isn't happening for you, we're just gonna step over and try to make them a little bit quick so that you can still get that heart rate up. Then we have bicycle crunches. So I'm gonna be on the ground with my hips bent, knees bent to like a 90-90 position. My hands are intertwined behind my head, and I'm gonna bring opposite elbow to opposite knee. And you're gonna alternate. So one knee comes in to meet the elbow, and then the other leg is out straight. So you have 30 of those. And then we have weighted step-ups, Supermans, and sumo deadlifts. So weighted step-ups, I suggest you find a step that's probably outside. Maybe the step's going into your front door of your home, or even just a regular stair will do. Maybe you could go up on 2 stairs, but you're gonna hold weight in both hands, or you can hold it in one hand, kind of like this, and step up with it. But the goal is to have them in this farmer's carry position. You're gonna step up, and then switch sides. That's your weighted step-ups. All right, next we have Supermans. We've done this with warm-up, but Supermans for this, we're gonna start on our stomach. We're gonna come up and hold for a couple of seconds and then come down. So that would be 1 rep, 2, 3. So again, keep those heels pinched together. Try to squeeze your butt and lift your arms up. And then lastly, we have sumo deadlifts. So we're gonna have a weight in between our feet. So if I'm using this dumbbell, it's in between my feet. I'm gonna bend over, my chest is up, my core is nice and tight, and I'm gonna stand. This works really nicely if you have a kettlebell. I'll show you from the front. So bend down, It's a sumo deadlift just because the weight is in between our legs, so our stance is a little bit wider. Bend down, chest is up, and stand. Those are your sumo deadlifts. Then, finally, after you go through that fun chipper, you're going to do a cash out of a bottom of a squat hold. If that's not happening for you, you can do a wall sit instead. But what this means is you're gonna do a Tabata. So you're gonna go down to the bottom of your squat. You're gonna hold this for 20 seconds, and then for your 10-second rest, you're gonna stand. So it's gonna be 8 rounds of 20 seconds like this, 10 seconds like this. All right, have fun. Wednesday should be a good one.